Hello, YouTubeverse. Welcome. I hope you're all doing well. Today, I want to take a little step outside of the typical Bitwig tutorials that you are all used to me doing because I just want to talk a little bit about writer's block because it's something that will get us all eventually as creatives. And I just want to put a positive spin on it and show you some of the ways that I combat writer's block and how I can get over it, and if I can't, then how I kind of use it as a constructive time. Okay? All right. Tune in, plug in, chill out, have a seat, and let's get into it. Okay, so we look at writer's block as such a negative thing, and really as creatives and as people who live completely on the success of our next song, it's easy to get caught up. And of course, when your creativity is feeling kind of more like a desert than a lake, it affects you emotionally, and all you want to do is get back on making music. But as creatives, I think a lot of us kind of neglect the clerical work that needs to be done that's involved with making music. And so having writer's block is kind of a perfect opportunity for you to go in and at least do some of the clerical work that you need to do. For example, clean up your filing system, back up all your stuff to external hard drives, nicely, organize all the folders in your, although for me, I have like a creations folder on my desktop where everything that I do creatively gets dumped into, and then of course I have them all organized into folders. And so I'll do that. I'll make sure that I'm keeping a good amount of free hard drive space. If my hard drive's getting full, I'll kind of move that around and just overall clean up the system, because the computer is one of your best friends in writing music nowadays, and so you want to keep it ship shape, as it were. Another thing is your social media campaign, your social marketing, and now's a good time for you to go on and advertise your songs and really just push them. Really find the little places and be creative as far as how you can ship your music around the world, whether it's getting people to use it in their YouTube videos or trying to find a publicist or a publisher or anything like that. Now's a good time to do it. You're not going to write a song worth a damn right now anyway, or at least that's how you feel. So you might as well just work on the marketing aspect, which it easily falls by the wayside when you're feeling creative, because of course that's the fun part, is when you get to write a song. Okay, but say you've done all that. Say your files are nice, your computer's going good, you've done as much as your brain will allow you to do as far as social marketing is concerned, and you're just sick of it. Your eyes are bleeding from all the YouTube or the YouTubes and Facebooks and SoundClouds and Twitters and Google Pluses and all that shit, and and you have to take a minute and let what's left of your sanity leak back into your brain after doing it, and say all that stuff is done and you just want to get back to writing. Well, here's a few tricks that I have learned. One, I have Spotify, but you can just as well do this in any wherever you get your music from. But I love Spotify because I have this Discover Weekly. So every week, I think it's Sunday, they recommend songs that I likely haven't heard before, and that's great. So for as long as I have writer's block, I'll try to listen to music that I've never heard before. And there's times where I can go a week, even 2 weeks, where I'm listening to music, none of which that I've heard before. And I'll skip songs if they're familiar to me, and I'll just keep going through music that is completely foreign to me, because it's just a good thing to do. It opens up your perspective. You find a whole bunch of great new songs that you can add to your library, and it's just kind of interesting, and you should give that a shot. For me, I often have to travel, and I have to drive long hours in the car, and so I'll plug Spotify into my car, and I'll just totally go on this cruise of music where everything's foreign. It's like visiting a different country in your mind, and it's worth doing. And that often, even just that will break my writer's block, And check that out. You might have Apple Music, maybe you just use SoundCloud or even just YouTube, but certainly there's ways for you to go and find songs that you've never heard before that are still within your kind of your wheelhouse as far as genres and stuff that you like to listen to. And that's an excellent way to kind of help combat writer's block. And even if it doesn't combat your writer's block, at least you've expanded your horizons as far as your knowledge of the music industry. And so I think that's a good thing to do. If that doesn't do it for you and you're just itching to do something on your computer, I'll kind of go into Google and I'll type in like plugins that I might want to try, like Contact Library, and I'll just surf around here and I'll look at free libraries. I'll even buy some plugins because a lot of them either have demos or a refund policy, and I find that just surfing around the plugin world can be very inspiring. For example, if I go to Bitwig here, I just bought Analog Strings, and it has a 14-day return policy on it, and I fully intend on refunding this plugin before those 14 days are up. But at least in that time, it gives me the opportunity to sit here and sort of sound design and go through and listen and pick through presets. And every once in a while, you'll hit a preset and it'll totally just bring up a song in your mind, and then you'll go and write the song. And that happens quite often. I find this to be the best way to fight writer's block, is to just dick around with some new plugins that you've never heard before, especially software instruments. And so at the end of the 2 weeks, if Analog Strings has had such a profound impact on my writer's block to the point where I've actually gone and written a song using it, or I just love it so much that I can't just be satisfied with sampling a bunch of these sounds and slicing them into a multi-sampler, but I want to keep it, then I'll keep it. And so what that's done is two things. One, it's helped inspire me, but two, it also sets a high standard for the plugins that I'll actually pay for, because anyone can go and get cracked versions of plugins, but it's different when you lay your money down and your money is on the line. And so what you're saying is, I'm going to play with this for a couple weeks, and if it doesn't inspire me, if I don't get a song out of it, if it's not a good enough plugin, then I want my money back, right? But if it's such a profound plugin for you, then it's worth your money, and you'll know that next time you have writer's block, you can come in here and kind of dick around. See, I've gotten Exhale as well, and some of this stuff is helping me right now because I'm experiencing writer's block. It also helps me to talk to you folks about it a little bit, and it also can help to understand why you might have writer's block. For me right now, it's because I'm straight up sick. It's Saturday. I want to go do stuff. I want to hang out with my friends. I want to jam, but I just can't. I'm locked in this damn house. I feel like shit, and there's just nothing creative about me at all right now. And so now's the time. I'm going through and I'm organizing my files. I'm surfing through all the social media. You might notice all the changes I've made to my YouTube channel. I've created a new splash video or bumper video, whatever you call it. And now I've downloaded Analog Strings and Exhale, and I'm kind of dicking around with those. And I'll just say, Analog Strings, that's a good one. I might do a review on this because I know a bunch of you guys might be curious about it, so I won't do that in this video. But the takeaway from this is that it doesn't affect your bank account at all if you just try some plugins, even just try the demos or check out plugins that have refund policies, and it just can't hurt. If you have the $200, I think it was, for this to put up front to try it out for 14 days, knowing that you're going to get that money back, you should totally do it, and a lot of times that's going to fix it. The last thing is if you have friends that are musicians, okay? Actually, it's the second last thing. And very often, well, I shouldn't say very often, but there's times where I just need exterior influence, and I'll go to my buddy's house. I'll talk to my bandmates. We'll kind of get together, and they'll always, at least one of us in the group will not be experiencing writer's block. It's very rare and very highly unlikely that all of us are going to have writer's block at the same time. And so when that happens, the one guy that doesn't have writer's block will have enough energy that we'll all feed off of it, and he'll throw a tune down and we'll all pick up on it. Before you know it, within that day, within that hour or few minutes that you're all jamming the song, it's totally gone and you're back on the horse again. But I know there's going to be a lot of you listeners that don't have the privilege of having friends nearby that play music, and that's totally fine. I think there's something to be said for people where all of your product is organically you, and it's just you, and that's totally fine. I will say this, that nowadays with the internet and social media, it's not like when I was a young musician and I had to get my guitar and my amp and all the chords and my pedal board and could get on a bus because I didn't drive yet and take an hour-long bus drive to go somewhere to jam, and then at the end of it, when you're exhausted, you got to load all that shit back on the bus and go home. It's not really like that anymore. You have the internet now, and you can collaborate with people all over the world. And also, I'll take this time to mention, I'm willing to collaborate all the time. If you guys have a track and you want a little guitar on it or something, or if you're a singer and you need a track to sing on, let me know. I'll totally collaborate with you when I have time. I am a busy guy. I work in the live industry, and that kind of keeps me running ragged at sometimes. So, but definitely let me know if that's the case. If you don't have anyone to collaborate with, then I'm your guy. Okay, I'm willing to help you out. Absolutely. Okay, and also the last thing is, well, why don't you just pick a genre that you've never listened to? Like, why don't we go to YouTube, for example, and listen to some cowboy let's see if caps lock on, bebop. Okay, and just like this is ridiculous. I would not listen to cowboy bebop, I don't think, but why not? Why don't you just type in a genre that you would otherwise never listen to, okay, and check that out and force yourself to write a song in that genre and just do it like a mathematician. Okay, it's this kind of tempo, it's this kind of groove, it's this and that kind of feeling, it's got this instrumentation, the melody line is doing this, the rhythmic line is doing that, the drum patterns are this and that, and go through it and try to force yourself to write a song that you would never listen to or ever create on your own, because now's the time to do it. You're not going to do it when you're feeling creative, and what it'll do is it'll again expand your horizon and build your character as far as your musicianship goes, and that's a good thing to do, and it can be a fun exercise. Lately I've been kind of dicking around with making future bass, and I'm gonna have that video come out soon as my experience through figuring out, first of all, what the hell is future bass, and second of all, how can I make a future bass song. And I'm almost done that track now, and I'll share that in a video, and we'll kind of go through it when we're back into the Bitwig tutorials. But anyway, I digress. Okay, all right guys, I hope that inspires you a little bit to kind of embrace writer's block and not fear it, because fearing it kind of just makes it worse. And I hope that you can get something productive out of being blocked creatively. And I just wanted to shift your thought process on that a little bit, and I hope my experience as a songwriter and musician can help you. And again, like I said, if you don't have anyone to collaborate with, to get a hold of me, and we'll work something out. Okay, all right guys, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. It is a Bitwig tutorial site, but I will every once in a while I'll throw in a like a plugin review, only of the ones that have a profound effect to me, only of the plugins that I'd be willing to buy. And so this won't turn into a channel where it's all about product placement or anything like that. I'll give you quality videos of the best that I can. And of course, if you have any comments or questions or suggestions for future videos, leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, all right guys, I hope that helps. Let me know. All righty, take care.